Welcome to the Chain Effect Podcast. Hey, Taylor, how are you in this moment, in this second?
I'm doing good.
Since we lived together.
It's been a long time.
We worked together.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you in forever.
Oh,
Things going well?
it's been minutes.
How's your family?
Our family's good. Our family's good. Our family's good. One's watching some cartoons, rarity for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Olympics are on.
Boring.
It reminds me, yeah. Was that a couple years ago?
I mean, y'all, the Olympics are really cool. I've watched 0 minutes of the Olympics. And mainly that's because I
We're
fall
busy.
asleep at 8:30 after
Yeah.
reading some Harry Potter with Bennett. That's it.
We're busy people going to jiu-jitsu and piano and all these things.
Yeah.
However, this podcast makes me remember, Tali, we were watching the table tennis and
It was archery, I think.
fencing and
Yeah.
archery and all this stuff.
Summer
we were flipping
Olympics.
through. Yeah, Summer Olympics. And we thought it was so cool. And our oldest was
He was-
really enjoying it. And
Yeah.
then Tali was young at the time and he was like, boring. This is boring. We're like, but today we are talking about something that may be considered boring.
Yeah. For some.
What doesn't excite you makes you stronger.
That's right.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But what doesn't excite you? We're here to break down the hard truths.
Yeah. I mean,
Things we live by, but they are hard sometimes.
these days, everything needs to be exciting, right? If it's
Right.
not exciting, if it's not like grabbing your attention right away, then people aren't about it. People need novelty when really, or people think they need novelty, but
Yeah.
really what they need is consistency.
Right. For sustainability,
That's
to
right.
be sustainably healthy.
That's right.
And so that's really what we're talking about today. How can you meet your goals in a sustainable way that actually works?
Right.
And usually most people are looking for the 5% edge, like the cold plunge, the red light sauna, the supplement stack, the seed oil, no seed oils, like these little things that they think are going to change their lives while completely ignoring the 80% that actually changes their life. So, the consistent exercise, the eating well most of the time, not eating out a lot of the time,
Preach.
keeping healthy stuff in the house.
Right.
Keeping healthy stuff within your kids' reach.
Yeah.
Health isn't sexy. It's repetitive. It's quiet. It's boring.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how people go after the bad guy because they think that he's exciting, like in dating life. Like, ooh, I'm going to go for the bad boy, which I don't really ever did that. I don't think I ever did that.
You're saying I'm not bad?
I mean, maybe you were a little bit, but you were a little less straight edge. But it's exciting. And they might date the guy on the motorcycle who has all the tats and like not really a job. And they're like, ooh, it's exciting. He just is a vagabond. And then it's like, it's not really sustainable
Yeah.
to have a family with.
Yeah. Not really a long-term play.
Yeah. Maybe not goal oriented or having that growth mindset, which I, actually need and build a family with someone like that. So it can relate to a lot of things, but we're going to talk about the 80-20 rule. We live by that, like 80%, stable, consistent health routine, doing things mostly in a healthy way and, mostly, having a set schedule and structure. But 20%, you want to enjoy life too. That's where you might go out to eat. That's where you might go on vacation and eat differently or move differently or, leave room for treats and things like that.
Now, this like chasing novelty, this is biological. So, I mean, we're kind of hardwired to be noticing things that are different. That's what mice do, right? Like they like wander around the kitchen and they have the entire thing mapped, which is why the mousetrap works. Because it's like, oh, that's new. Let me go see what that's about. Yeah. But we're kind of hardwired to be looking for things that are different. And when it comes to our health, it's all about routine, consistency, stacking consistent things over and over and over again, which is why it's boring.
Boring.
Yeah.
Like the quick fix health trends are like the fireworks, and then the everyday stability is like our sunlight that we need. But dopamine hits are very real. That's how we get our high. That's why we go towards sugar sweetened foods and sugar sweetened beverages, and that's a quick dopamine hit. So it is hard, but I think once you get in a routine, you feel better. you want to make those choices. Like there's a lot of things nowadays where I'm like, oh, I don't even want that anymore. Cause I remember how it makes me feel or how it didn't lead me to my goals as well. So it doesn't even sound as exciting anymore.
And why do we need this in America? Why do Americans need this right now? Well, 70% of U.S. adults are overweight or obese.
Yeah.
70%.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
a lot. That's
not half.
A lot.
That's almost all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then only 24% meet the combined guidelines for aerobic activity and strength training.
Mm-hmm.
So not quite the 30% who are not overweight and obese. It's even less than that, actually exercise. Over 90% of Americans don't eat enough fruits and vegetables.
I believe that.
Average American fiber intake is 15 grams a day and recommended is 25 to 38. So almost half. And then 1 in 3 adults sleep less than 7 hours per night.
Oof,
Not me.
Sleep.
I've been crushing sleep.
Yeah. But I mean, think about it, because the technology is more exciting. The screens are more exciting. It's giving us that dopamine hit and giving us a lot of blue light, which is not healthy.
Yeah.
To get some good sleep. So a lot of distractions.
Some good shows out there. I'm not going to lie. There's some good shows out there.
Yeah. But the blue light right before bed.
Yeah.
But that's why, the fiber intake and the lack of fruits and vegetables, it's like, that's why nutrition counseling seems so boring.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, some of the goals might be working with your dietitian about, well, how can we add more color? That's one of the major things I always talk about with people. So it's like, there's no color in your meals or there's no fruits and vegetables. Yeah, that sounds boring. But once you start adding that produce into your diet, you see how much healthier, how all the nutrients you're getting, the fiber, how much more full you are, how it can satisfy that sweet tooth if it's fruit instead of like processed food. So it seems boring, but that's the stuff that really works.
And people will spend so much money on a supplement. They'll spend so much money on a supplement, but they won't eat broccoli, twice a week.
I mean, I'm not going to call it any names, but like these greens powder supplements, the greens drinks, like, people might eat out lunch, eat a bag of chips in the afternoon, skip breakfast, order in dinner, and then have a greens powder at some point and be like, ooh, it's fixing, getting my fiber, getting all my nutrients I missed. Y'all, that stuff is expensive.
Yeah.
Get some broccoli in there. Get some frozen vegetables. I can do things real cheap.
Right.
Some canned beans to get your fiber in. I mean, we add beans, to several nights a week dinner.
I wish there was a better way to, like, if someone cracks the code on taking frozen broccoli and then actually making it good, that would be good.
Well, more people are starting to roast it from frozen.
Oh. That's interesting.
So it gets rid of some of the
moisture. Yeah, it gets so soggy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We just like we do the fresh.
Yeah, but it's still pretty cheap.
Yeah,
especially
it's
depending
cheap.
on where you
and
go.
it's got more nutrients, right? Because it was picked closer to harvest and frozen, flash frozen.
Now we could go on and on about the like marketing and misinformation out there and all the ads and stuff that really gets in our head because, eating healthy does not make money necessarily for people that want to promote that stuff. So supplements, there's a big industry for supplements. There's a big money making,
Weird. Facebook isn't giving me ads on eating healthy.
I know. Weird.
I'm not seeing the latest thing to just grab some meat and veggies.
Yeah, but let me try
Facebook.
this new supplement or hair vitamins or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like really, even our hair, I've talked about this with some clients recently, like there's a lot of nutrients that we might be missing that can help with our hair growth and skin and nails. So people have talked about like these hair vitamins and stuff. It's like, actually, let's work on your protein intake or let's work on your zinc or let's work on your, getting real foods in instead of buying a huge expensive supplement. So,
I mean, you have a lot. I've talked to some of your clients and talked to a lot of clients over the years. They're like, oh, I eat healthy. I do this, I do that. And, they start listing all of the different hacks that they're doing. And then you're like, well, how much protein are you getting? And it's like, well, I eat eggs in the morning and I have a little bit of meat at night. And it's like, yeah, that's probably like 25 grams total.
Yeah. It's just changing it's really just a lot of education.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when, people are, eating healthy is so expensive, but they'll spend, they'll get DoorDash delivered like every night for dinner for their family. Like, do you know how expensive that is?
Yeah. Well,
you trying to budget?
Fees.
Like, good Lord.
It's almost like doubles the price when you.
I mean, it really does with the delivery, then the tip and all that. So, I mean, really, it comes down to it can be done. Food can be expensive. Obviously, we've seen prices increase, especially with meats and things like that. Some fresh produce, but it is, I guarantee, the boring, simpler things in life are really going to save you money than all the hacks.
We were talking about this the other day about kind of how we grew up. The sort of fashionable thing to do would be to have like a casserole or a lasagna for your family, right? Like someone would spend a bunch of time, preparing this extravagant dish, baking it in the oven, and all the extra calories that really go into stuff like that. If you're going to have like some sort of cream of mushroom dish or a lasagna, or
especially like the southern stuff that does add a lot, or even things like adding, when you add in, I know they have protein too, but you're buying in cost too, all these extra sauces, but maybe you're having an Italian casserole that's like ricotta, and then you're buying Parmesan, and then you're buying mozzarella, and then you're buying
heavy cream,
and then you're buying, basil, which is good, but you can grow your own pretty easily. But, that's a lot of ingredients to get the protein you need and a lot of extra calories usually.
Because the fat is now 9 grams, 9 calories per gram.
Good job.
Nice. And then protein and carbs are 4?
Yeah. So it's over double. Boom. The macronutrients are different. Yeah. Calorie density. So carbs and protein are only 4 calories per gram. And so these things have those sauces, the cheeses, not only is it extra cost, but it's also more calories going in rather than a very basic meal, which we are known to do. I mean, we just eat very plain, very basic, not plain, because you can flavor things really well with seasonings, but without buying a lot of extra sauces and soups and creams to go in there, you can get a lot more protein with like a chicken thigh or chicken breast, your vegetable, your starch, or a starchy vegetable.
I would say at least 4 nights of the week, it is a meat of some sort, a veggie, and then maybe a starch for the kids and salad for us. And I mean, we're not shy on the portions of the meats and stuff like that. And we do tend to mix like grilling / sauteing / cooking in the oven just to kind of add some variety. But I mean, it's basic. It's salmon once a week. It's chicken thighs. We'll roast a whole chicken after doing the air brine in the fridge, which I've talked about before.
Yeah,
the 48
super
hour,
easy though.
But super easy.
And super cheap.
Yeah. We'll do steak. We'll do, ground turkey,
shrimp.
ground beef.
Did you say shrimp? Like sauté shrimp. Super.
You love shrimp. I'm like,
I know. I know. I just really crave them sometimes.
I don't know.
Why.
It's just like no good way. Even in the pan, I feel like with butter, it's just like not even that good.
Really?
I don't know.
I feel like I could.
Doesn't do it for me.
I like them.
But I mean, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it.
But so we do those things. And then I was telling you the other night, like, because if I have a casserole also, my willpower, like, just because I'm a dietitian doesn't mean I have willpower all the time. But if I have a casserole in front of me, I'm going to probably eat so many more calories than I would a more filling meal with like a big piece of chicken or a big piece of fish, because I can just scoop it and you eat it so fast and it goes down easier. It may not have as much fiber, which is going to slow you down, or that, those cooked vegetables or raw vegetables like salad to break down. So, those sorts of things, they do take more time and they can be more expensive, honestly. But they also can lead to overeating in calories, I would say. Sometimes, depending on what it is.
So we're talking, I mean, we bring up the meat as being really important because of the protein. But something that is very boring, but also probably one of the cornerstones of metabolic health, our sort of routine, is protein. So let's just talk a little bit about the ways that we try to get the 2 grams per kilogram of body weight, right? 2 grams of protein per kilogram. And that's, not what was taught in nutrition, in the nutrition.
Which is like a pound.
Right?
Yeah, like a pound a gram per pound body weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's important to get it a lot at each meal. So, for people that are eating just 3 meals a day, you have 3 opportunities to get a lot. Now, the amount is different for everyone, but like for me, I would need to get at least 30 grams for 3 meals, each of the 3 meals.
And probably like 15 over 2 snacks.
And then more for snacks.
You need,
Yes, so that's not even enough.
Yeah.
And so breakfast is a crucial part of doing that, which is difficult because even no matter how many eggs, no matter how many egg whites you're adding in, which is like 5 grams of protein per a quarter cup of egg whites, you would have to have like a bowl of like, I feel like I always try and it's like, I count it up. I'm like, this is still only like 18 grams of protein probably. So it really is important to start your day with protein metabolically for insulin resistance and how your blood sugar levels are for the rest of the day, your cravings, things like that, versus starting with like a more carb heavy meal, in general. But you really have to start your day, your first meal getting a lot of protein in.
Yeah.
And then we have a lot at dinner too, because we have more, it's easier that way.
Now I've been on my protein game, cause I've been working out a lot recently and I've been on my protein game.
Wow, you've been working out
and running, but I've been on my protein game, really diligently recently because of like increasing my activity, and I just want to make sure that my muscles are being nurtured and nourished. But one of the things that's been really helpful, and I stole this from a trainer I was talking to. I was like, dude, what do you do? Because he was jacked and just like really fit. And at the time, I think he was going over to like a taco place to eat like 7 tacos, but he did tell me how he starts his day. And he does 100-gram protein shake. Oof. So 100 grams of protein packed into, and so I started doing that. And now I know you can only absorb, thoughts vary on what you can absorb, but between like 30 and 50 grams every couple hours. So I make this protein.
And also you don't want to feel sick.
Yeah. I make this
within an hour.
I make this protein slurry, which is, like 3 scoops of the protein. It's got some milk. I'm using whole milk because that's what we have here, and some creatine, some PB2. It doesn't taste that bad. And it's not, I'm making it even like more condensed. So only like 12 ounces of liquid. And I just drink half.
Yeah.
And then wait another 2 hours and drink the other half. And by front loading, I think front loading the protein in your day is so important. I have almost 0 afternoon cravings.
Right. It makes a world of difference.
I have my sandwich. I try to have it after I work out. So I'm like refilling my glycogen. I'm trying to eat in my glycogen window.
Yeah.
And so I really feel like doing those couple things, I'm like starting the day with like 150 grams of protein, and then I just need because I'm trying to get 200.
Yeah.
So then at the end of the night, I can have that through chicken or salmon or whatever and get close.
And it's boring, but it's cheaper and faster than like going through a drive-through and picking up breakfast or, something like that. And yes, if I felt, a couple weeks ago, I was starting to follow my own advice about actually measuring out my breakfast to see how much protein it was. Like, I should be a good patient for myself. These rules these, goals I set for other people. So measuring out the cottage cheese or the yogurt or whatever it was quick that I could do getting the kids to school. And when I actually got enough protein in the morning, I felt the same way. My cravings were way down. I was actually full for like 4 hours rather than wanting to graze. So that makes a big difference. Not as exciting.
Sounds exciting. And you are like taking out the novelty of it too, because there's no decision to be made, right? You're not like, you're not approaching lunch like, where am I going to go? And what am I going to get? And, trying to spend 20 minutes trying to figure out like what restaurant you're going to go to and what you're going to order. And then all the time it takes, but also like the mental load of making those decisions. And we know that decision-making, willpower is a diminishing resource throughout the day.
Yeah.
So the more decisions that you have to make, the harder it's going to be for you to make good decisions come nighttime. And so it really does stack. Like you have a bunch of like a super carb heavy breakfast, and then you have that like really intense hunger pang around 11:30, and now you're going out for lunch. Maybe you make a good choice, maybe you don't. And then dinner is rolling around and you're going to be right in that same boat again. And so, I mean, you talk to people who eat out twice a day, every day, or just don't cook at all.
And I don't think people realize how much those decisions and also the nutrients that they're getting and lack of nutrients do make them feel too. And don't sleep as good, which we'll talk about how important that is, and don't feel as good. And then they're constantly having this food noise and this craving, like, I want something, because they're not as satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that protein, we've been talking a lot about that because of metabolism, because of blood sugar, but also with it is, not necessarily with the protein, but the other consideration that's, one of our dietitians talks about how protein is having a moment, and he thinks the next moment is going to be fiber.
Yeah, which it kind of has started.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. And I have one of my clients calls fiber nature's broom. It just kind of goes through and sweeps up everything.
Well, the colon cancer rates are skyrocketing, and we know people personally that have been affected by that at a young age. And so I think that's why the younger generations are starting to get a little bit more concerned with it, and it's becoming more of a hot topic. But it always has been. It's just been more boring. Not something that you really want to think about. But
I just had my first colonoscopy.
Yeah.
I have to take a quick break on this, but I had some of my friends say, why aren't you just doing the Cologuard? And I was like, yeah, why am I not just doing the Cologuard? But then after doing the colonoscopy, and it's like one little polyp, and they go in there and they cut it out. What I was thinking about is, like, if you do the Cologuard, it's going to test whether or not you have colon cancer or signs of colon cancer. And it does have, I think, a lot of false positives. So you do the Cologuard, and then a lot of people end up doing the colonoscopy. But one thing it's not going to see if you have any polyps in there.
Right.
So
and just more fear, right?
Yeah,
like if it's false positive or whatever, it's like, oh my gosh. And then you have to go to colonoscopy anyway.
Yeah. So when you get the first one, and maybe Cologuard for the next one, but like for the first one, go ahead and get that baseline colonoscopy. And don't wait, because I waited
when you're 45.
Right when you're 45 for guys. In the family history, you're going much earlier.
Just
so
like
I had one of my
yeah.
teammates just, passed away, 37 years old. I mean, there would have been no screening for him, but you got to do it. So do it quick. Yeah. As soon as your doctor is like, yeah, it's time to get the colonoscopy, don't wait. It's not that bad. The prep
I think it's come a long way in the prep.
You had to drink like some gallon of that stuff. I just had like these two little shots.
Yeah. I did one kind of
be near a bathroom.
Yeah.
Don't try to work. I was gonna work the morning that I had the colonoscopy, and I was talking to one of my patients, and another guy who was in his 50s was like overhearing us talking about how I was like debating whether or not to work, and he was just laughing so hard. He was like, I wouldn't plan to work unless you plan to wear a diaper.
Yeah, I didn't think about that like the day of, because I don't remember, because I had one done, for like a health scare a few years ago, and everything was fine, but I didn't remember the morning of. I really didn't remember like what was going on.
So I had to.
I'm glad you didn't see patients that day.
You were having a rough morning that morning, and you were like, I need you to take Bennett to school, and I was like, okay, but I'm supposed to be starting this prep right now. And you're like, well, maybe just drink it in the car. I was like, no, I don't think you understand. Like, as soon as I drink that, I need to be near the bathroom.
How fast it works. Anyways, but fiber is really important for that. So it's boring, but like just adding more produce, more beans, more fruits and vegetables, nothing fancy and glamorous, but like this is what's missing when we eat out more. Like it might seem more fun, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night going out to eat and getting a margarita and chips and queso and getting some Mexican food on. It is fun, but I'm saying the frequency. Yeah. And also that unless you're getting a lot of beans, that is not going to have as much fiber.
Yeah.
Or, pasta or whatever your choice is.
So as we're talking about fiber, how much fiber, like what are your top ways of making sure that we get enough fiber? What do you tell your patients? Well,
color, it kind of ties into what I was saying at the beginning, color at every meal if possible. So that could be like especially places where there's gaps like breakfast, you know, adding avocado, adding any sort of veggies in the eggs, adding veggies on the side, adding some berries to the yogurt. So adding color at every meal and snack if possible. That's one way. Also adding beans, incorporating meals like chili. I mean, beans are the best way to get fiber in my opinion. So it's just because the amount per half a cup or cup is just, you can't really compare. Same with edamame. So edamame, soybeans, beans, so soups,
Beans
chilies.
are so good.
So good.
They're like,
it's so filling.
It's a carb. It's got protein and a ton of fiber.
I love using it as, you know, sometimes the meals can be too many carbs depending on the person. So easily if you're doing rice and beans.
Yeah.
Or, you know, different carb sources, but beans is like perfect because it could be your fiber and your starch or your starchy vegetable, and then get protein, you know, with it or in the soup or whatever. And there's also some protein in beans. So it's like, it's a really good combo food.
Y'all, and if your experience with beans is only canned beans, you need to get some dried beans, make them in your Instapot, make them in your Dutch oven. But there are some awesome recipes, and, you know, particularly like a lot of the Central American, South American, Puerto Rican stuff that we've experienced.
Yeah.
Where
The pink beans.
The pink beans. So good. So good. And you can put them back in the fridge. They're good chilled. You can heat them up. They're so versatile, and it makes like a really nice accompaniment to your boring meat and vegetables at night,
and thinking about in the warmer months, like a cold bean salad. Like I love my like lentil edamame salad or a chickpea salad to go along with like leftover chicken or something. It's that could be a super easy high fiber meal. So that's another way. And then
but don't just do the cans. You gotta venture into the dried bean section.
Yeah, I like the quick
well,
methods of cooking.
That's okay.
But that is quick too. It's just one more
you
step.
just have to prep it a little bit ahead of time.
And then another way, just to end on this, is you can add, this isn't maybe as concentrated forms of fiber as like beans would be, but little additions like adding flax seeds, chia seeds, basil seeds, as edible basil seeds.
You bought some of those. What are those basil seeds? You got some of those.
Yeah, they're like double the fiber as chia seeds. They've got some good micronutrients. They've got good levels of potassium, calcium, but they're kind of like chia seeds. They don't blow up like they do, like when they absorb liquid, like chia seeds, like chia pudding. But so you could add. Not really. I mean, they don't really have that, like, you wouldn't like smell them and be like, oh, this is like basil. So you can add those into things you're already doing. Yogurt. Some people add them to smoothies, cottage cheese, stir them in. So those are little fiber additions too.
Now, a lot of people like me, as of last night, thought that my romaine salad had a lot of fiber until I asked.
So mad.
I asked Alexa how much fiber was in a head of romaine. A head.
Not me, Alexa.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I guess I could ask you.
While I was sitting there.
How much fiber is in a head of romaine lettuce? How much fiber? 1.5 grams. As I was chomping down this ginormous.
Yeah, his salads are like this.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah. Now, you know what you could do is throw in some microgreens, and we should grow some again. Or get some or grow some in the windowsill. They have little easy. But those have maybe not as much fiber as dense, but they have nutrients more dense than like our lighter lettuces. You know, they're just more they're way, you know, higher in like vitamin K and iron and things like that.
Is it the cruciferous that have the most? Or
it's just like the darker it is. So iceberg lettuce is kind of like more, maybe not as dense. And then when you get into more like, you know, spinach and arugula and things like that, the deeper lettuces, those are going to have a little bit more nutrients. But then when you get into like the cabbage and kale, but then when you get into like the cabbage and the cruciferous vegetables, the asparagus, the broccoli, beet greens. Yeah. Actually, whoa. I forgot about those. When we were growing beets, we were using those.
Just blending
in
them
smoothies.
Into, oh gosh. Yeah. The Purple Poop Club.
Yeah. But the leaves are not good. Like they are gross, but very nutritious. So
very
you can
nutritious.
Add them into a smoothie.
There's got to be a way to make them good. So fiber and then another boring thing. Well, I mean, I love it, but another boring thing for a lot of people is exercise. And exercise by itself isn't necessarily boring, because what I tell a lot of my patients is you need to have an exercise anchor. So for me, my exercise anchor is ultimate. For a lot of people, their exercise anchor is tennis, golf, some activity. I know you don't have one, but some activity that they like to do that kind of is social, that they are measuring their performance over a period of time,
right?
That they can train for. And that exercise anchor can lead you to being able to wrap your head around structure,
right,
for your training schedule. And some things that are boring but really work is, one, scheduling your workouts. So put your workouts in your schedule. If you just try to get to it at the end of the day, I mean, some people only have time at the end of the day, but if you try to just, find time in the day to do your workout, then you're going to be like using a lot of mental load to try to motivate yourself and like find that time. And two, it's probably not going to happen.
And make it less boring if you can meet a friend to do it. That's even better for the accountability and like scheduling it with that person.
Right. And second is do a program. Now, there's a ton, social media has a ton, like, if you want to be fast, do these exercises. If you want to be this, do these 5 exercises. If you want a big butt, do these exercises. I was going
to say the glutes. If you want to grow your glutes, do these. If you want to grow your hammies, do these. If you want to grow your quads.
But the reality is that what most people need is they need some compound movements, the boring stuff, squats, deadlifts, Romanian style deadlifts, lunges, step ups, things like that. They need some really good lower body stuff. You need some good upper body stuff, but what you need is progressive overload, and a program really gives that to you. There's a ton of great apps in there where you can just set what you think your maxes are. Obviously, if you're starting out, lower that by whatever you think it is, put it down 20% or 25%.
Yeah.
And then the app will set your reps, set your weights so that you're kind of at the end of each exercise, you're kind of getting closer to your top number. And that's a way to make gains. It's boring because you're doing this repetitiously over time, but it works. And I've had cycles in my life where I was kind of just doing the same weights. I was working really hard in the gym, but I was maintaining, but I wasn't really building a lot of strength and building a lot of athleticism until I started working on a program. I highly recommend. There's a ton of like Wedler style programs, also known as like the 5-3-1. We can get into that on another episode, but those programs work really well. So program, put it into your schedule, and that's going to help you get that consistency.
Yeah. And hey, you may still not enjoy exercise. I know people there's some people that do not enjoy it ever, no matter what they're doing. Maybe they haven't found the right little niche yet, but if you don't enjoy it, it might be in one of those things where it's boring, but we have to have it.
Yeah.
We have to.
I think for those people, they need professional help. Like if you don't
and that
wake
would be
up,
where you pull someone in.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't wake up being jazzed to do it, maybe you would just enjoy, like, there's a lot of times, we own a gym and I'll go to a group fitness class. Because I'm like, I need help. I need people.
Yeah.
Right. I need motivation. So I'm not just sitting there looking at my phone.
Yeah. And someone that can help you track stuff too.
Right.
That could be it. Like if you're like, because a lot of times we are doing something for so long and don't really recognize the progress, but then someone could remind you, oh, well, you were here. Look at your muscle, look at the growth of your, muscles now, or you can do a pull up now, or you can do a push up now. I remember when I was like finally able to do a push up. And I was like, oh my gosh. And now I'm just cranking them out, and it feels empowering, especially for females, building more strength. But
and I would say one last thing is take 5 minutes before you leave for the gym and write down what you're going to do once you get there. Because if you wait and you're just like, you can waste so much time at the gym.
And that decision fatigue.
Exactly. If you don't go into it with a plan, you're getting distracted. So make a plan before you go. Put it in your schedule and do some progressive overload. Okay.
And it might be starting with, if you're not doing anything, long walks and listening to podcasts or making it enjoyable somehow.
Yeah. Get moving. Because what is it? 9,000, 8,000 to 9,000 steps per day is associated with a significantly lower mortality risk.
I think some studies have even said 5,000 steps because a lot of people don't even get 5,000 a day.
Yeah. But strength training 2 times a week reduces risk of all-cause mortality by 15 to 20%.
Yeah. I believe that.
Yeah.
And also supplements can't help you work out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like there's not a quick fix. You know, it's might be boring, but we got to do it for our health. We know we got to do it.
Now, sleep.
Yeah.
Got to get that sleep.
Got to get it.
So
I have to. I am not
grumpy
okay.
pants.
I am
grumpy pants.
Not okay if I get 7 or less hours.
What if you get woken up with the tapping, the face tapping?
Oh yeah, that was.
I'll tell you what. Our poor dog. He was running after a rabbit. Like several. This was several.
Dream?
Several years ago, he was running after a real rabbit in the yard. We heard this yelp, and all of a sudden, he's dragging his back legs across.
That was so scary.
Across the yard, and I thought it was like, okay, I'm gonna have to take him to the vet and put him down. Like that's it. Pick up, like he's okay. I think he like freaked himself out, but he ended up like hurting his back. So now I think he gets like a little bit of like radiating pain, and every night he likes to lay right next to me. With us. Right next to me, and
actually,
he just gets
on
his
my
leg.
Legs. Actually,
just gets his leg going.
Actually, he gets himself curled up in my legs, so I can't move. But yeah, then he's kicking.
And in my dream, everything just starts shaking, and then I wake up and I'm like, get.
But one way we do not mess around with sleep because we both know we need it. And one thing we found that is really helpful is sleep masks.
Sleep masks.
We try to keep it as dark as possible and as cool as possible in our house. The 2 things you got to do also if you have trouble sleeping. But
mixed reviews on white noise, but we
got to have a white noise. But also, if you think your room is dark, there's always light coming in, and that could affect your sleep. So try a little satin mask or a weighted eye mask.
I noticed when I put the mask on, all of a sudden my dreams were so much more colorful. It was crazy. Like I put the mask on, it's like, I don't know, it's just that little bit of compression. Yeah. It's wild. Wow.
Woo. So we make sure we get our sleeps and supplements again, like maybe they can help you fall into sleep, but they cannot replace sleep. So, got to be careful of the caffeine too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When it comes to getting a bit, the half-life of some, like, it depends on how your metabolism, like how quickly you can metabolize the caffeine. But let's say the half-life is even like, 8 hours. Mm-hmm. Well, if you stop drinking coffee at 12, that's the half-life at 8 p.m. So that means it has not fully broken down. Mm-hmm. That's the half-life. So just keeping that in mind. But a lot of people I think that I see are like, oh yeah, actually I quit, I cut out the caffeine or I switched to decaf, and I think I am sleeping better because they were having a coffee like 3 p.m. or something. Mm-hmm. So it really can affect it even if you don't think so.
So y'all, block out the noise, right? Block out the noise and chase down the fundamentals, the building blocks. You don't need 17 supplements, a $300 detox.
Getting rid of one food group is not going to change your life and get you to your goals.
You're probably not gluten intolerant. I mean, maybe you are, but like
that may not be the answer for you.
That may not be the answer. And unfortunately, like people are making a lot of money off of gluten-free snacks right now. Yeah. Yeah. And so the supplement, what is it? The supplement market is like $50 billion.
Whew. Yeah.
$50 billion market. I mean, we should be super healthy.
Yeah. If that were the answer, then if that was the easy answer, a greens powder every morning for breakfast, then we'd be healthier than ever. Yeah. But we're not. The fact is, no, we're not. Now, we are not totally against supplements. We've mentioned,
we're probably not going to get a green sponsorship based on this one.
There's some supplements that I think are valuable in different ways, especially when it comes to like, fish oil or vitamin D or things like that, that might be a little bit more necessary with your lab work and your eating intake.
Or if you just like hate fish, then you should probably take some
so there are, and that's why I meet with a dietitian.
Yeah.
Because we can sort out the misinformation or all the ads you're seeing and you're like this, oh my God, what do I need this, and you're just buying everything nonstop, wasting a bunch of money. But if supplements were the answer, the quick fix, then we'd be healthy. And we're not as a population. I hate to say it. So
now coming full circle, back to where we started. If we thought about the Olympics again, and what do people like? What do people like to see? They like to see the Olympics because it's the world's best, and they're standing on the podium, and they got their gold medals. But y'all, They didn't get there by doing the flashy stuff.
Right.
They got there by discipline.
Right.
They got there by work ethic. They got there by paying attention to the little things, growth mindset, not even being that focused on the results, which we didn't even really get into today, but that's like a huge part of this is like, there is no destination, right? For a lot of these things, it is just the grind.
Well, it might be the Olympics, but.
Well, it might be the Olympics, but
for these people.
For these people, it's the Olympics, but for us,
for the average Joe.
For the average Joe, it's just, you got to fall in love with the grind.
Yeah.
And the grind
and
of
notice
just
how
like,
it makes you feel better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a lot of it. But yeah. So yeah, there's a lot you don't see, and it is boring. I mean, discipline is boring, but consistency is really what's gonna get you to where you want to be long term, and feel your best. So you don't need more hacks. You need more reps, folks.